I get it. When you're scrolling through a sea of pool heaters, the cheap lookalike options that promise fast heating can be tempting, but most of the time they end up being a disappointment after you've already paid for the unit and installed it. You start the summer dreaming of a warm, inviting soak, only to find the water barely moving past lukewarm, or the heater sputtering on and off like an old diesel. That regret feels especially sharp when you consider how much effort goes into setting up a pool or spa in the first place. The question then becomes, does the Raypak 336000 BTU Digital Electronic Ignition Propane Pool Heater actually feel like a smarter buy, or is it another Flashinthappan product? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When you first encounter the Raypak heater, the headline number 336000 BTU immediately signals that this unit is meant for bigger pools or spas that need a serious temperature boost. That's a good clue for anyone who's ever tried to heat a 20-foot pool with a 150000 BTU unit and spent an entire afternoon waiting for a few degrees rise. The digital microprocessor thermostat is another point that caught my eye because, unlike the analog dials you see on many low-end models, it lets you enter a precise temperature and holds that set point with minimal fluctuation. In practice, this means you can set your spa at 104°F and expect it to stay there rather than constantly cycling between 100 and 106. Now, let's talk about the real-world setup. The heater arrives in a fairly compact cabinet larger than a portable propane grill but still manageable for a DIY install with a couple of friends. The fact that it uses 2-inch CPVC water connections is a plus for those who already have that pipe size in their pool plumbing, because you won't have to splice in adapters or rerun new lines. Installation does require a propane line, which means you need a dedicated tank or a reliable connection to an existing line. If your property already has a propane supply, the hookup is straightforward. Otherwise, you'll need to budget for a tank installation and possibly a regulator, which adds to the upfront cost. What about daily usability? After the heater is up and running, the digital control panel becomes your primary interface. You'll notice the temperature display is clear and the buttons have a satisfying click, nothing overly fancy, just functional. The system's electronic ignition kicks in instantly, eliminating the need for a standing pilot light that constantly burns gas even when you're not heating. This translates to lower standby fuel consumption, which shows up on your propane bill over the season. In the field, owners have reported that the heater reaches the set temperature within 3,045 minutes for a typical residential pool, a timeline that feels reasonable when you compare it to the several hours some older units require. But no unit is without trade-offs. One hidden downside lies in the heat-up time for larger volumes of water. A 336000 BTU heater can absolutely move the needle on a 15-20-foot pool. Yet if you have a 30-plus foot pool or a high-circulation spa, you may still notice a lag in reaching your target temperature on especially cold mornings. The thermostat does its best to maintain the set point, but the heater can only push so much heat into the water per hour, so patience is still required during the first few days of the season. Another practical consideration is the need for regular maintenance of the propane burner and the copper fin tube heat exchanger. While the product touts a rust-resistant cabinet and non-corrosive internals, the heat exchanger itself will accumulate mineral deposits over time, especially if you have hard water. Cleaning the coils is not a daily chore, but it does mean you'll need to schedule a yearly service or be comfortable doing it yourself. Who should buy this heater? If you own a medium-tonnage residential pool or a spa that sees frequent use, and you already have a propane supply, the Raypak 336000 BTU model makes a lot of sense. The precise digital thermostat and rapid ignition are features that matter when you want consistent comfort without constantly fiddling with knobs. Homeowners who plan to keep their pool open well into the shoulder seasons, think October or early May, will appreciate the ability to set a specific temperature and have the heater maintain it without overshooting. The stainless steel tube sheet, polymer headers, and PolyTuf powder-coated cabinet also give the unit a durability edge in harsh outdoor environments, which is reassuring for anyone in a region with salty air or high humidity. On the flip side, the heater is not the best fit for a seasonal just-for-this-summer pool that you only plan to use a few weeks a year. The upfront cost, combined with the need for a propane line, can be overkill if you're only looking for a quick warm-up in July. Likewise, if your pool is on the smaller side, say under 10,000 gallons, you'll likely be paying for more heating capacity than you'll ever need, and a lower BTU model could be more economical. Lastly, if you're in a location where natural gas is